What's up everyone, welcome back to more Reddit stories about Karens, crazy people, and all that kind of stuff. So as usual, consider hitting that subscribe button for more Reddit content if you're new here, and let's get into today's stories. Let me get your change. I work at a gas station in Oregon, with half the pumps being self-serve and half being mini-service, which means that we're there to pump your gas for you but not obligated to do anything else, like wash your windshield. But we do when we're asked to be nice. There's this lady that comes in almost every day and gets like $5 or $10 worth of gas, asks us to wash her windshield and never tips. She's really weird about it, like it's her little power trip. Last time she was in, it was raining and she still smugly asked me to wash her windshield. And being hardcore customer service guy, I did, but then I thought twice about it after the fact. I go that length for nice folks, but she's not nice. She's rude, whiny, and weird. So windshield lady comes in today and hands me $9 for gas, and then as usual asks me to wash her windshield with a smug look on her face. I said I would, but then by the time I got back out, there were a good 8 cars on the pumps. I told her I'm sorry, I can't do your windshield right now, it's too busy. Well, she gets really snotty with me and has me stop the pump, which means that since she paid cash, she needs her change. Okay, you'll get your change. I went inside and told my coworker I need the change on pump 2, but make sure to vend extra pennies from the safe and put 50 of them in there loose. He looked at me like I was crazy, but then I explained who it was for, and so he gladly handed me over the change. By the way, we have to wait in line inside the attached convenience store with other customers to get change for gas, because our pump guy often doesn't have their own till open for a shift. So as I was standing in line to get windshield lady's change, she came inside and was death glaring our other customers, and then must have seen me waiting and went back out to her car. She was already getting snotty with me the moment I walked back out to her car. So I put the $3 bills in her hand, and then an absolute cascading assload of pennies and a few nickels on them. Sorry, we're short on silver, I said. The look on her face. That was the most satisfying use of pennies ever. She was stammering when she was driving away and I didn't listen to or identify a single word she said. I'm hoping this will discourage her from coming back, but if it doesn't, then we will once again have a shortage of silver change. Am I the asshole for leaving someone stuck on train tracks? I'm going to start this off by saying that I live in the middle of nowhere. Despite this fact, the road we'll call 95 that runs along the town and to the next is in the top 10 most dangerous in my state. It's important to note that train tracks run next to 95. Locals understand how dangerous both are. We won't pass on 95 except for certain areas due to blind spots, and we're extremely careful of the train tracks. It was ingrained into us that we are not faster than a train, that it's better to be late than try to race a train and not win. So into what happened Tuesday. On my way to a friend's house, I end up on 95 for a minute or two before I have to cross the tracks. Up ahead at my turn, I see 2 cars stopped. So naturally, I slow down a little earlier than I normally would and join the line. Confused, I pop out to question the guy in front of me. Almost immediately, I spot a group of deer make their way onto the tracks. The other local, who had also gotten out to chat with me, explains. Basically, they'd noticed the deer right before they'd tried to cross. They would have had to stop on the tracks, which is every local's nightmare. So here we were, waiting for the deer to cross. We don't even sit there for a minute before a small little black car rolls up with a license plate from a few states over. My town is well known for being the friendly waving type, so naturally we warn the guy, telling him of the deer and to wait with us. Instead, the male huffs at us, telling us, we don't know a f***ing thing. This sours my mood. Everyone is really nice where I live. So to hear someone be so rude so bluntly makes me upset. I don't say anything as the guy next to me shouts at him as he drives on the tracks. You're going to get f***ing stuck, idiot. Sure enough, the guy brakes hard on the tracks, getting himself stuck. He gets out cussing like no tomorrow as he yells at the deer, essentially scaring them off. During which we enter our cars. The first car drives off. The next car does the same, making sure to lower his window and mock him for not listening. I go to leave, but get stopped by the guy. He asks me to help him, but I simply give a dry laugh and say, no thanks, sarcastically. The guy loses it, shouting and screaming as I roll up my window and leave. When I got to my friend's house, I immediately fill her in. I'm upset and rant that he should have been nice and listened to us. My friend doesn't disagree, but ends up telling me I should have helped. They informed me that they could have been having a bad day and I may have just cost them a lot in damages. We didn't discuss it more, but I brought it up to friends and family and they all said roughly the same thing, minus a few people. I'm really starting to wonder if I should have stopped to help him. And this commenter said this: "Everyone sucks here. I grew up on America's busiest freight train line where every small downtown has this kind of intersection. My uncle is an engineer for Norfolk. I don't care if this guy was your worst enemy, you help clear that track. You do it for the engineer who can't stop the train and doesn't want to kill someone this trip. You do it for the ambulance and fire truck that can't get across the track for 4 miles because the stopped train is blocking all the level crossings. You do it for the cop who can't get the red pancake out of their nightmares." NOP responded, "This is where my mind went when I really started thinking about it. I could play off the driver not being affected, but everyone, I can't. It makes me wish I'd stayed and helped, despite not knowing if I really would have been any help. I'd be a twig trying to push a car." And this comment also says everyone sucks here. Sure, that guy should have listened to you when you warned him, but you said, everyone is really nice where I live. Yet 3 of you left this guy in his car stuck on the tracks. He was definitely being an asshole, but for a town, quote, well known for being friendly, you could have helped. So I can definitely see both sides of this. From a logical standpoint, given the situation, if OP did stop to help, would he really have been able to do anything? He was the only person there after everyone else left, and depending on how stuck the car was, it's hard to say whether or not OP pushing alone would have been able to get it out. But yes, the bigger picture here is that all these people just driving off and leaving this guy to fend for himself could have been putting multiple people's lives at stake, not just him. And they might have actually been able to get him unstuck with 3 people pushing. Yes, the guy that got stuck shouldn't have been a jerk to begin with, and he also should have shown some humility when he actually needed help instead of just getting more angry. And the people that drove off could have been a bit less petty and realized that the situation could have turned into something much more serious than just a guy being a jerk. And another thing to be aware of is that just hearing this story, it's easy to take the moral high ground and say, oh, you know, if I was there, I would have helped. But how many of the commenters on this Reddit post saying that do you think actually would have, after being berated and treated like an idiot from this guy? In-laws threw a party on my private property and didn't invite me. Got escorted off by police. My husband and I were together for 10 years and married for 7, before he unexpectedly died last year. Before and throughout our marriage, his parents never liked me. Despite how they felt about me, I was not only always cordial to them, but I allowed them to use my 2 lake houses for whenever they wanted. The first lake house was owned by my parents since before my brothers and I were born. The second lake house was purchased by me and my brothers. The 2 houses are right next to each other and perfect for large family gatherings. During our time together, my husband's family celebrated holidays and extended weekends at the houses, and it was never an issue, and I was always there during those get-togethers. Recently, my husband's youngest brother got engaged, and I knew his family would be throwing him and his fiancée a party like they did for all of their kids. Except for my husband and I, but we didn't have a big ceremony or anything, so I can't prove the lack of party had anything to do with me. I also expected an invitation because I was incredibly friendly with the youngest brother, having gone to many sporting events and concerts with him. But no one ever mentioned anything about a party. And when I finally asked the parents, I was told that they weren't doing anything big. Fast forward to last Monday, and I got a text from one of the neighbors at the lake asking if I'd be joining the family for the party. Come to find out, the whole family was at the lake houses with guests, and had been for that entire weekend to celebrate the engagement. At first, I wasn't bothered by not being there, but then I got another text from the neighbor one night telling me that my mother-in-law drunkenly admitted that I wasn't invited. So I drove over an hour to town with the paperwork listing my brothers and I as owners, and showed the sheriff the text message stating I wasn't invited, and told them I wanted everyone off of the properties. The sheriff and some deputies escorted me to the houses to shut the party down. The sheriff entered the party to shut it down, telling the guests that the owner wanted everyone gone. Mom and dad-in-law threw a fit, and that's when the sheriff arrested them for public intoxication. Youngest brother is mad at me, but his fiancée is on my side. Edit to add, there's always been a hidden lockbox with keys in them. I don't know that anyone has ever had copies made, but I paid the neighbor's husband to change all the locks on both houses, and to lock the garage doors and disable the garage door opener. I had to get back home because I have a cat and dog to look after. Otherwise, I would have changed everything myself. Contractors keep calling my phone because someone else gave them my number. So for the past year, I've been getting calls from contractors asking if I want any work done on my property. They start off by calling me by name, which is not mine, and then asking if I live at a certain address, which also isn't mine. I tell them I'm not that person, please stop calling my phone. I tell them I don't own any properties, please stop calling my phone. I ask them to put me on the do not call list. Sometimes they just hang up, sometimes they just get rude, and say things like, why would we stop calling? You gave us your number. For a long time, I would just hang up before saying anything, because when the call connects, it makes this beeping sound when I pick it up, so I know it's them before they even say anything. Well, after over a year of this, I decided to say, yep, that's me, when they ask me if I'm that person. When they ask me if I still stay at the address, I say, yep, that's my house. When they ask me if I want solar, landscaping, painting, or driveway work, etc. done, I say, yeah, I sure do. Then they tell me they will have someone come out to my property. What time is good for me? I tell them a time when traffic is worst, like late afternoon. Then they call me when they get there and tell me they've been waiting for 10 minutes. And I tell them I had to go to the store real quick and I'll be back in 10 minutes. It's very satisfying. Anyway, friends, that's gonna do it for today. Thank you for watching, I appreciate it. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more Reddit content like this. Anyway, take care and I'll see you next time.